Tourism Community Enhancement District on Thursday, May 28, 2026, 2:03 p.m. And if we could, please establish a quorum, Angela.
Sue Braun,
Here.
Michelle Herzan,
Here.
Derek Smith,
Here.
Matthew Grocock,
Here.
Brett Stump,
Here.
Timothy Haygood,
Here.
Derek Frederickson Jr.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Kurt, would you mind giving us an invocation?
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. We're grateful for this rain. We're grateful for all that you've created, and you've given everything that we have, and we are thankful for that. Be with the men and women that lead and support and serve this community. May we do right by you and all that we do and seek you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Next up, we have an agenda to approve, but before we do that, we're going to make two slight modifications. Under the new business heading, fourth bullet point, where it says allowable cost policy recommendation. There's not going to be a recommendation. It's actually going to be just a short update provided by Sue Braun from the Finance Committee. And then another new item of business will be a recommendation from the Finance Oversight Committee regarding our cash management system and a new product that we'll be using to do that. So with that, if anybody would be so kind to make a motion to approve the modified agenda.
So motion.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Got a motion. And the second, is there any discussions? All right, all in favor, please, of the approved modified agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, we've got a modified agenda approved. Next up, we've got our meeting minutes from our April 23rd, 2026 meeting minutes. May I have a motion and a second to approve those? Motion from Tim, second.
Second.
All right, second from Sue. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the prior meeting minutes, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, we've got approval of meeting minutes. First off, I want to thank the Village of Indian Point for hosting us again this month. Thank you very much for the use of the facilities. We enjoy being able to move around within our district, and we are very appreciative of the hospitality that the village provides. So thank you very much for that. Next up, I'd like to welcome Derek Frederickson as our newest member of our board, and please serving out the remainder of the appointment from the city for Alex, who is now a part of the board. So we're excited to have you on board, Derek. If you want to share anything for the crew, we'd love to hear.
Thank you. Yeah, super grateful to be in this role. I was thinking on the way over here, Kirk Gump was one of the first people I met when I moved to Branson professionally. We used to met, we did some work together at the Bass Pro golf tournament back in the day. So super fun to be working together now. Super grateful for the city's appointment, the trust, and very, very humbled to serve our community any way I can. And it's in this seat. Very grateful to be here. So,
And you are with Hollis Acres Army, if I'm not mistaken.
that's correct.
All
Yes,
right.
sir. Yep.
Well, welcome aboard. I do not have any other comments, but I do want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, especially in the rain, making the trek out. We're excited to have you. Next up, we're going to move on to reports. First up, Kirk, if you would give us your executive director.
Thank you, Derek. Just constant work on leadership, listening and communicating, digging in on film opportunities from around the country and what has been successful and what has not been successful in other markets to help support the efforts of what's going on with our partners. And then the new opportunities that come at us, it's fun that it comes to my phone and then we get to meet with people that are potentially looking at coming to our market. Looking on a 3 to 5 year planning structure on process of leadership, efficient progress forward, communicating and setting meetings with our new board member and doing an orientation this coming week with Angela and myself. We're also healing from, things that people think they think about our brand, but our brand is improving in the community. As you look at the 14 applicants that applied for that seat that Derek was there, is a remarkable improvement on the perception. I'm excited about that because we've been working and trying to extend bridges in the community and shake those hands. Q&A yesterday with the sports facility consultants that are in town. It was very enlightening and a learning process. Training city directors and assistant directors, working with them on a communication program and how to become more efficient in communication and public speaking. Working with the sales team at the CVB to help these relationships that are in our market or in our region that financially, if they don't want to go to Orlando or Texas or somewhere to have their sales meeting, like to invite them down here to our market, you know, the Lakes area, to Branson area, for them to spend their dollars here in our marketplace. And then the servant leadership model that Ansel and I try to work on a weekly basis. So just a lot going on and a lot of meetings.
Appreciate it. Any questions for Kurt? All right, next up, we have the report from our financial oversight committee. Sue and Angela, take it away.
Angela, you want to go ahead and do the finance stuff?
Sure will. You've got your list of disbursements first on the section of things, followed by your balance sheet. Your checking account ended the month of April, not September. I have April in here. Awesome. I bet you do too. I sent you corrected ones on Tuesday, and I will send you a cover sheet of what's included in there. FOC worked on a couple of things besides the things we've already discussed, adding and amending on the agenda. But we are working on a budget amendment also that will bring our budget into line with the additional $850,000 marketing funds, the changes to the chief's contract, and some other expenses that we expect not to be expended, and some revenues that maybe are new. Your sales tax report is correct, and we had 5.5% growth March year over 2025 March. Still down a little bit for the year, 4.3%. We're early on, and it amounts to about $162,000 of difference from last year. So we're not looking for a lot of dollars yet. So we'll keep an eye on that closely. The city's tourism tax for their month of April was up 3.8%, and year to date up 4.6%. The category breakdown, you had amusements and campgrounds down, and then theaters and restaurants were up a considerable amount. Short-term rentals and hotel motels were flat.
We did have a budget amendment discussion, which will have some more things on that today. We had also talked about the ICF recommendation, which we were going to talk about later on today. And then the audit, we had to make some adjustments in order to make our audit line up with the contract with the CVB. So we'll cover all those later on today.
Any other items from the FOC other than the new business items that you have for us?
Don't think so.
Any questions from the board on the financial oversight committee report? It's got everybody quiet. If I could have a motion to receive the finance oversight committee report.
Motion to accept.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor, please say aye. Right. I think we're gonna have to do a drill to get everybody up and at 'em, up and going. Next up, we have the oversight committee. Do we have a report from the MOC?
We do. Courtney's not here. I'll deliver for her. She has a business, I believe, out of town. Great meeting right here in this room. 2027 KPIs and goals development were discussed. The fall creative brief, which passed with a recommendation, which will come in here later. Marketing plan recommendations for the $850,000 additional funds being planned and worked out and hammered down, getting that thing rolling in a great direction. The Travel South partnership opportunity was discussed. Sue Braun complimented the group for all their efforts in the city's spring fling event downtown. I've received another addition to that today. Good morning. We had an opportunity to bring the AMP Tulsa 8 team to Branson 2 weeks ago and showcase all we have to offer instead of driving there to do a one recorded segment. We arranged their full itinerary, lodging, activities, shows, etc. And as you can see, it paid off without investing another dollar for marketing or adjusting the budget we instead invested in customer service and hospitality, have gone from a contracted 2 segments to 6 additional segments at no cost for the drive market in Oklahoma. So I commend Heather and her team for the marketing efforts. I also want to encourage all of you, this 250 Branson sheet that they've created, this gives you a soup to nuts all the way through November on what's going on with America's 250 in the Branson Lakes area. And you can get this on their website, but hand these out, make sure we get people attending these. There's some incredible names on here when you think about the Guinness World Book of Records, when you think about the Air Force Band, the United States Air Force Band, the Thunderbirds, Harley Davidson, and then of course Veterans Week, one of our favorites. So a lot going on. I just want to encourage you all to dig in and pass around the news. That is the marketing report, sir.
Thank you very much. Any questions on that? We're gonna get some more reports on that here in a second. If not, I'll go ahead and get a motion to receive and accept that. Motion in a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Appreciate the report. Next up, Explore Branson Tourism Reports. Marketing up first. Let's have it.
Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Right, so you have the full report in your packet, and I'm gonna read it all to you section by section, but I'll just point out some of the highlights. Since we've gone with TripAdvisor directly, we're seeing better return on our investment without paying the 30% agency fee. And some of those highlights were mentioned in the report, as well as the request that MOC had to show the top DMAs, not just limiting that, just that little window of top DMAs that we show, but to provide the full 20 plus that are in the top. So we showed that whole list, and obviously that varies depending on traffic and visitation and fluctuation, but we monitor that on a day-to-day basis, but it stays pretty consistent in terms of what remains in those top DMAs. And I think that's helpful for other businesses in the destination to be able to look at those and be able to compare marketing comparisons and see that they wouldn't be wrong to market and promote in those same DMAs. And then we also shared some of the results from some of our traditional and connected TV, and then some of our public relations efforts, specifically along the lines with the Tulsa station that we worked with that Kirk was mentioning. We signed a deal with them basically to have a summer promotion to focus on all the 250th efforts. And as part of the negotiated contract, they wanted us to come to their studio in Tulsa. And when we said, why don't you come to us? Because we think we have a lot to fill your time with, they were blown away. The camera crew and the on-air talent had never been to Branson. So that was really fun to be able to show off what we had to offer. They got to go to the Hay Goods and interview. They got to go to the landing. They did Stampede. They did so many things. And they got out on a boat. I believe, Brett, you were able to host them. So we filled their time for 3 solid days from the moment they arrived in Branson. And then one of the producers of the segment actually stayed behind and stayed for our VIP movie event that we had out at Sycamore Creek to be able to see what we're doing in terms of film in the future, and took that back to Tulsa to be able to tell the Tulsa audience that film is coming to Branson as well. And they also sent one of their on-air personalities, Cameron Fontana. He does the on-air there in Tulsa, but he also has a huge social media following. And he has been churning out content on a daily basis. And it's very engaging, very family friendly, and it's really taking off. And then you may have seen some of the social content from the Chiefs cheer team. We were able to, even though the agreement has sunsetted, we were able to work with the cheer team, and the sports department helped arrange their itinerary, and they had a wonderful time. They did a really great shout out to Branson and shared that on their social platforms, and we were able to share that as well. We're going to go through the creative, so we'll save that for the agenda item, and then we're hard at work on more enhancements to the website. specifically on the events tab and the live shows tab to make that even better. We have gone back to them and made it very clear that we're not happy with the finished product. And we have negotiated 60 hours of free work from them, which is equivalent to about $20,000 of free services to change our platform and make it more custom. We really like the way Las Vegas has their page done on the events tab, and we will get something that's created custom, kind of mirroring Vegas and also Grand Rapids, but it will be created just for us and it will start to make it really easy to use. We are hard at work on the vacation guide for 2027, really leaning into that Where My Heart Sings theme. And we've got some really great stories that we're working on with the whole behind the curtain segment, as well as one that's specifically focused on storytelling about some of our longtime residents, Village of Indian Point residents, why they picked it, how they've seen it change, but then also Branson and what makes it unique and different. And then natural history of the Ozarks. I think this is going to be a fun one with Old Matt's Cabin and Marble Cave and just telling that more rich storytelling. And we also included our schedule for production and the creation of that guide on there. And the Flag Day, Kirk mentioned that very briefly, but that is the day that we are attempting the Guinness World Record on Flag Day. It is the only flag world record on Flag Day in the United States of America that is being attempted by Guinness World Records, that has been created specifically for us. And we have created custom flags, a red one, a white one, and a blue one that are Branson branded. And we will be creating a flag mosaic of the giant letter B and star from our logo. And it will take up 1,400 square feet of the top floor of the parking garage in downtown Branson. We will have a drone there. We will have the adjudicator in his full-on garb and even a land surveyor because we have to. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll start designing that at 9 o'clock and ask everyone to show up and see it. And you can even own a piece of history, buy one of the flags, and have that world record piece hanging wherever you'd like to hang it. Then we'll wrap it up with a parade in downtown, regular parade route. Everyone's welcome to participate. It's free. We'll be giving out flags for people to hold, dress in red, white, and blue, and make it a big thing. We'll have 2 news segments reporting live as well as a radio station. And we think we'll get a lot of coverage just for that. The adjudicator will be there to answer questions and hopefully make it official that we have attempted the world record, and then they have to go back and judge it all and we'll get our whole big flag. And then next year, someone can attempt to beat it, or we can just go down in history as owning it. Hopefully. All right. We're also working on the visitor sentiment research study, and that information is going to be very, very timely. I think it's going to be good for the MOC to be able to look at some of those results that are coming in, feedback from residents and from visitors that are either they have been here, even if it's repeated visitation, but then also people who have never been to Branson. Why haven't they been? What's holding them back? And what would encourage them to come to Branson? So all of that data is going to be released. I had a preview of the report today. It's about 120 pages, and that's just the beginning of it. So there will be a lot, and MOC is going to need to dig in and turn some pages and read and commit to some hard work, because it's going to create a lot of work for all of us to get together as a team and make sure that in order to make change, we've got to do it together. And then we included some industry news just as like some tips, some information. I don't think it's any surprise that airfare prices are up, gas prices are up, but it's even more reason to be focused on the drive market and to be encouraging people to maybe change course. They don't need to go to Disney World, they can come here. It's even better here. It's more fun. We have more things and we have beautiful lakes. So that's the message that we're going to be sending. I know gas rebates have been talked about before, but gas rebates are not sexy in terms of marketing verbiage. So we will be spinning it in a different way. We're talking about how family friendly, affordable, but easy we are to get to. And then we include that sweepstakes portion with it as well. That drives the visitation, just the interest in entering sweepstakes, and all of the TV that we're running in Tulsa, Little Rock, Springfield, everywhere in the state of Missouri drives them to an enter to win component. And then they want to find out more. Why should we go to Branson? What should we do? So that's our strategy there. Questions for me?
Heather, I know that the website has been a thorn in your side ever since we launched it. I just wondered, that 60 hours that we're getting from them, is there a time limit that they're gonna use that to try to fix the scheduling problems on the website?
They're using the 60 hours right now as we speak. They've already
Good.
started working.
Good.
It's
Do
been
they
a
have
thorn
a-
in my side since I arrived here.
I know. It has
Not
been.
just since
I know
last
it
year.
has been. I know it has.
Any other questions? Exciting stuff. It's very exciting.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna bring it back up here in a
Yes,
couple minutes.
yes. That's why I sat on this side.
Save yourself some time.
Yes.
All right, so next up, sales. There we go. Excuse me.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Ashley.
All right, so for sales, we sent the report out in the packets as well. At the time of the report, we were on pace for all of our goals. I have to say we have hit them for the month now. So the leisure department has brought in more than 27 leads this month, and MNC has brought in more than 68, and we're right on pace for those goals for the year. So excited that we're tracking with all of our increases each month. We worked on some goal setting as we were talking about KPIs and goals. The team actually came over here to Indian Point. We went down to Dooley's just next door and spent a day there just really deep diving into the information and the data that we had available, all of our reporting metrics, making sure that they're accurate, making sure that we're on top of those things, and then developing goals and KPIs that we felt confident as a team to present and bring forward to you guys for the plan for next year. So we linked to a full report there of what those suggestions are. We'll talk about those more, of course, but there's a photo there from that session, and it was very insightful, and I think it was great for the team to bond. Obviously, we got to do a site tour of Dooley's, which was an added benefit. So that is a little recap from that day. Moving down to trade show report, the team went to Connect Spring /eTourism, and they took 31 appointments. We sent Carlos and Sierra. They've already seen several leads and RFPs come back from that. And it was a dual purpose. So it was half education, but half appointment taking as well, and learned some new tools and tricks for our CRM systems and how we can better utilize those as well. So it was a really beneficial conference for them to be at. And then also in April, there's a picture included. We hosted the Explore Branson Family Marketplace here in Market. We were able to welcome 15 new businesses. None of them had ever been to Branson before, which is exciting for us to have 100% of the participants never been here before and booking groups. So it was super time, great success. We had wonderful feedback from all of the participants in it. We had great response from our partners as well. We were able to showcase a lot of different things. It was a packed schedule. We saw shows, we saw attractions, we were looking at meeting spaces. We hosted the first ever marketplace on a Branson stage, which was really cool. So it was just a great success, and really we're starting to see some of that already come back. We actually had a partnership with a couple of our team members in-house. Francisco from the sports team stepped in and did translation for one of our tour operators that was in town that speaks Spanish. And she's already sent us an RFP. She's booking a group, first time ever booking a group to Branson. So really cool experiences that we had with the fam. So that was a great time in April. And then moving into, we've been sending out emails. We have a few events coming up that we're building attendance for, selling sponsorships. So those have been going steady as well. And then we're currently about 2 weeks out from Rally Point Branson, which is an event that we're hosting in conjunction with Flag Day and everything happening there. That's coming along really well. We're excited. We have the Lieutenant Governor coming. We have a flyover happening. We have local bands performing. It's at the Aquarium of the Boardwalk in their parking lot. And we're really excited about what that's going to look like and the opportunity it has for just showcasing Branson for the 250th. So that's something we're putting a lot of effort into, and then that whole weekend is a celebration leading up to the Flag Day of Guinness World Record attempt. So we're working hard on that. And then the next two big events we're working on are August. We will have Student Youth Tour Association SIDA. We will have our ice cream booth activation there as well. We'll take appointments And then we'll host our Explore Branson Under the Stars event again. And we did a site visit to Pittsburgh. Jocelyn and I went really quick, just one day up there, to just make sure we felt good about the space we're hosting the event in. And it's a science center, it's right on the water. And I think it's really going to be a cool experience to showcase Branson for all of the attendees for the conference. So we're working on the details for that. And then finally, Connect Marketplace will happen in August on the heels of CIDA. So we're working on all the details for that event, ice cream booth activation, as we've been doing. So we have a busy month, but we're on track for all our goals, and open for any questions.
When do the appointments convert to leads?
When is
Yeah, how long does it take for that to?
It depends on the market that we're
Uh-huh.
working with. Meetings and conventions is a little bit longer of a booking window. That can be anywhere from 6 months to even a year sometimes, just
Mhm.
depending. Leisure, this year we've seen a shorter booking window, to be honest. So I would say that one could be sometimes it's a couple of months up to a year. So it really just kind of depends on what they're looking for. When we're traveling to big trade shows, those are typically going to turn around within a year. When we're seeing like the fan marketplace, that could be in a few months that we see somebody show up.
And those are all on the portal for people to get to?
Yes, the leads
Okay.
go into the portal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Ashley?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
appreciate the focus on the sales side. I think that the Datify article that was sent out spoke to, especially now, the conversion
Yeah.
piece of it is really what's separating destinations, right? And
Mhm.
so, I guess my goal specifically, it sounds a lot like down there, but are we tracking, like once we identify somebody, right, and we
Yeah.
change it, can you speak to, are we tracking every step of the way, or is it,
Yes, we do.
and can you help me understand like what a lead is technically and all that in your
Absolutely.
world?
Yeah. So from our standpoint, the way the team looks at that, if we go and have an appointment with somebody or we get a call in or we have a conversation and they're asking for information about a specific date range, that's a lead. We put them in, we send out the information to partners if they have an RFP where they're requesting rates and those things, and then let the partners communicate back to us what that looks like. And then we move them into the funnel. So they started in a lead, they could move to a tentative, and then they could move to a definite. And definites is when we rely on the partners to let us know they signed contracts, which we have some steps in place to track that. What we also track is our time that a lead stays without being touched in the system. We run reports on that weekly, so that we know that we're not just putting in leads and then they're just sitting for months, because that doesn't help anybody. So
Right.
we do have a process in place to make sure everyone's handling those leads. After a trade show, we have a 2-week minimum turnaround, although it's actually closer to probably a week at this point, of putting those leads into the system and making sure that those are getting distributed to our partners through the portal. So we want to make sure we're on top of that.
So the 32% is your goal.
That's the goal.
from a lead
To definite.
definite.
Yes.
Great. Thank
Yes, which there's some steps that we're taking there to like, some of it is just knowing from the partners that they did book the group, because again, we're not transactional, so we don't sign the contracts, but just having those strong relationships with our partners in town, communicating and asking the questions, did they come through? Did they love being a part of that process? So we're kind of just closing that gap a little bit.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, I show sports reports.
Good afternoon on this very rainy day. Thankfully, we don't have any games today, otherwise those wouldn't be happening. But to give you kind of an update from this past April, we did have 6 sporting events. Of those, we had several baseball events. I won't go through all of them. They're listed in their packet. But we also had cheer and dance down at the convention center. And then we also had a new event for Branson, which was the American Midwest Conference Championship for NAIA. That one was a really good addition to our area to have collegiate softball here, to fill that shoulder season from January into as far as April has been huge for our area. And this particular one, we went out and met with them several times. They could not say enough great things about Branson and how they want to come back they want to continue doing this event in our area, but then hopefully bring back some of their collegiate events, especially if we were to do like an indoor facility, that they could definitely use that space. The other thing that's unique about these events, and you know, a lot of parents travel, they try to travel, but we all have jobs, so it's hard for them to get there. This particular one is streamed live. So in your packet, there's a picture in the middle section that says watch live. So even the people that weren't able to come and see it in person, they were able to see that it was streaming live from Branson, which I thought was a huge addition, playing at that collegiate level. And then even at the youth level, a lot of teams are doing that now, where they're streaming them live through Game Changer and things like that, to where, you know, they may think, we might not want to go down there this weekend and go to Silver Dollar City. So I think that's a great addition for us. So what that equates to, in your packet, you're going to see a typo. So excuse my typo where it says March. It's really April. But I noticed in last meeting that there could be some confusion in numbers. So going forward, instead of just having the number of athletes that are participating in an event, we're going to show the number of athletes and the estimated number of spectators that are coming in. And so the number that you have is 2,380, which is the number of athletes that we had in April. And then you add that with the spectators of 4,896. It brings your total attendance for April to 7,276 people. And that gives you an estimated economic impact of $4 million. So looking ahead, we'll switch those for you to try to help with seeing the overall picture of it. And then some other spotlights of things that are going on in our area. We were showcased as a spotlight in the sports planning guide for Branson Youth Sports, and that was 100% free of charge. So we were really excited to be in a spotlight in that. And then we were able to see the transition of 4 events that we've been working on actually become the light and under contract. One being the AKC, the K9 Scentwork Masters National, that will be here in October at Chateau on the Lake. I also received word that their second AKC event has signed a contract, and they will be here in September. So we have 2 AKC events coming in this fall. And then we've added a Special Olympic softball event on October 15th. And Perfect Game is coming back. They've been out of the area for years, and through going to conferences and working with them over the past year, we have locked in 2 events for them in October and November at the Branson Rec Clubs. And then also one of the cheer events that we work with is doing a conference called Not Your Mama's Conference at Chateau on the Lake this October. Then going into May, we have a lot of baseball. A lot of baseball. We won't go through all of them, but there is one change in that we have 7 tentative events in May, not 8, because AABC Jackie Robinson World Series could not get enough fields due to other events at Ballparks of America. So they have unfortunately moved to Springfield. So that's why that number has dropped down to 7. And then starting today, we have the American Cornhole Association event returning at the convention center. So that's our sports update. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any of them.
Anybody have any questions?
I have a comment. We're definitely seeing a lot of cheerleaders and baseball players at the show. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, so that is trickling down for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You don't come back. This is an optional thing. All right, next up, thank you all for the wonderful reports. Next up, we have announcements and public comment. If anybody has any public comments, please feel free to join us at the front. Please state your name and Chris, and what you're speaking about, please.
My name's Chris Meyer. I have a couple different things today. First of all, last year we worked on a mission and vision statement that this board passed, and I would just encourage, if nothing else, you guys put that on the top of your agenda every month, just so everybody remembers what it is, and all that hard work doesn't get lost, and people kind of forget about what we did, because that had a lot of input from a lot of people. Anyway, one of the things you're going to be talking about here in just a moment is proposed suggestions for $850,000 in funding. And if you look, and last year when we talked about extra funds, I think, and we could double check this, but I think we cut funds on traditional television with 80% of that budget going to streaming versus broadcast and cable. And I looked earlier today just to see what some of the research said, and Nelson in March of 2026 said streaming was about 48% still. So I think we're missing some of our traditional customers that do not have streaming. Since last year, we've entered a really different world with global conflicts. That being said, I'm really concerned based on some of the numbers that I am seeing out of my comp set on Smith Travel Research. And so that's about 6 to 7 different hotels, and those are good hotels in town. And for the last 2 months, my specific comp sets have been down around 20% occupancy wise. From a trend perspective, that is really concerning. And so I would encourage the board to do a few things with the $850,000 in funds. And I would put as much into media as possible where our potential guests see our ads multiple times. And so as I look through that proposal, I think there's some areas where you guys could move some dollars. And I'll just give you a couple of thoughts and ideas, and it'll be up to you, obviously, whether you do that or you take the proposal as is. One item there was subsidizing groups to the tune of $40,000. We already do have an opportunity fund where groups can be subsidized as long as they meet the qualifications. There's some fan budgets in there of $60,000. I think if we would ask local businesses to either comp or heavily discount that, we could reduce those funds significantly on a FAM. And then I think you could reduce some of what I call the elevated promotional tools. But there is one section in there that is particularly concerning to me, and it's partner reporting incentive program of $20,000, where we would pay people in market to report. And so our tax dollars would literally be going to businesses in town. I'm not sure, quite honestly, that is allowable under our allowable cost policy, because our allowable cost policy says most of it should go out of market. And so for us to give $20,000, I'm like, I don't want people giving me money from tax dollars. I want it to go into media out of market to bring people here. So that would be an easy one, in my opinion, to switch to media. The other thing that it was in there was $150,000 for a Sturgis activation to target individuals there. On the city side right now, they have allocated $250,000 based on what I know to this 4-day event. Okay. In essence, if we were to allocate those kind of dollars to every day in Branson, our budget would be $36 million. Okay. What that means is for those 4 days, we're really allocating a larger percentage of our budget to that event if you do the $150,000 in addition to what the city's doing at $250,000. We might actually, without knowing all the numbers, we might actually be spending more on Sturgis than we are in certain key markets with traditional or connected TV. I think it would be wise for you to understand your media spend in our key markets before doing that. Sturgis occurs August 7th through August 16th. Okay. And then the Branson Motorcycle Rally is September 10th through the 13th. Well, that's less than a month away. And so I think you got to think about booking patterns. You got to think about when I go on vacation? Do I just turn around and go on another vacation? I don't, and I'm just concerned about that. And I think that we can get a bigger bang for our buck if we target our traditional Branson visitors within driving range. And so I think I would strongly look at that. Just in some of the things that I've talked about here, this could free up $200,000 to $370,000 to media to the masses. And we need to be targeting a lot of people within our drive markets a lot of times. As a board, you have to make these tough decisions. If it's your money, what would you do? I think some of the items in here are fine and probably make sense. But if it were my money and what I know and based on the data I've seen, I would probably make some changes. And so that's my input. Thanks for allowing me to speak. And I wish you guys all the best. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, I'm sorry, just real quick, you said a Nelson study from 2026?
March.
Niels.
March. That's what I found. And they're a leading research company out there.
Okay. And is that something that you pay to get that
And
information?
I found it online.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else have any comments or announcements? I'd share one announcement that the state of Missouri finished accepting applications for Opportunity Zone 2.0s. They're going to be disclosing those here sometime at the end of June, 1st of July. I would encourage anybody with any interest in that to look at those projects and contact anybody that you have connections with to encourage selection in our area. I think it's been a great economic tool, driven a lot of development in the area and product for our visitors. And encourage everybody to take a look at that. Anybody else have any announcements? All right. Chris, thank you for giving your comments. I really appreciate your perspective, and I thank you for showing up and giving it to us. We appreciate that. All right, we don't have any old business, so we'll proceed to new business. And the first item in new business is our fall creative recommendation. And as Heather joins us at the front, this is a fall recommendation or fall creative recommendation. We've been provided ahead of time, and that has been through MOC review, then through the contractors review, Heather's team, and all of that. So just want to set that up.
So we're gonna show it to you.
Oh, fantastic.
I know you've already seen it, but we'll show it to you again.
I mean, we're not gonna have to rely on me talking about
You
it.
don't have to act it out either.
Yes. You might be surprised.
And it has not been color corrected, but keep that in mind.
And this is where my heart sings.
That's the 15-second. Would you like to see it again? No? Okay, 30. That's okay, Erin, whatever works. Yeah.
30.
That's all right.
Familiar light, and every eye, think I'm on in. The water is like the green. And so they exchange you. Where my heart sings.
So those are the two spots. And then we also shared all of the digital creative as well. And it's not animated and moving, obviously, but it's the static ads were shared with you as well. And there was no suggested change or edit by the MOC. And we would like to get your approval to be able to meet deadlines for fall creative.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions? If not, I have a motion to adopt the recommendation from the MOC of the fall creative, please. Second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you very much.
All right, we'll get that all color corrected then and be ready to go.
Awesome. And then while you're there, maybe we could go ahead and move on to the next item.
Right. The next is the recommendation of the plan for the additional marketing funds.
You should have a copy of your packet.
And we did make a couple of changes, so you have that updated sheet that was shared with you. And it was recommended by the MOC. There were no suggested changes. I would like to talk about a couple of those items since it's been discussed in public comment, if that's acceptable.
That is very acceptable. Thank you.
So Sturgis is more than just a motorcycle rally. As you know, the city of Branson has a partnership to bring a motorcycle rally to Branson in September. This is a multi-year agreement, and the city is not making the Harley-Davidson Hog Rally investment lightly. It's not a one and done. It's an annual event that will be coming here, with the first year having an anticipated attendance of 5,000 attendees this year. And in that partnership, it includes our presence and attendance at the Sturgis Rally in South Dakota. Doing that, we will have representation and an activation there to meet, greet, and discuss Branson with their 700,000 plus attendees for the entirety of the Sturgis Rally. That audience is our audience. They like Branson. That's the type of visitor that comes to Branson. We will be doing a retargeting campaign that hits those 700,000 attendees in Sturgis, feeds them content about Branson, as well as a huge contest component. I was on the phone with Jesse James Dupree and his team yesterday, and some of the prizes are all the way up to a possible Harley Davidson as part of the sweepstakes. It will include Branson on all of that promotion. They will also have a QR code and Branson at all of their POS systems during Sturgis. Have any of you been to Sturgis? Anyone? Anyone? It's big. It's an experience. And it's a captive audience. In addition to that, the Petersons have agreed to come with us and perform. They will be performing multiple times that first weekend of the Sturgis Rally. They will be performing at breakfast time, lunchtime, dinner, on a bluegrass stage for 2 solid days. And they will also be in our activation booth, singing songs, and they're actually writing a full Where My Heart Sings song to perform and showcase Branson. It's not a one and done advertising campaign. It will be going on from the time, actually, we've already started gathering prizes for the sweepstakes piece. The advertising will start before the rally even begins in August. And then the advertising component of it is going to end in October. So we're not just promoting the rally. We're not just promoting Sturgis. We're promoting Branson to a target identified audience that is interested in this destination and they're interested in visiting and they're a key demographic. So there is strategy involved to it. It's not on a whim. It's not because we think it's fun or we think it feels good. We put data and research behind it, and that's the decision that we made and the recommendation that we're making on that sheet. To go with the traditional TV piece, we also have the KSHB that we have adjusted to the $118,000 investment. And then another movie coming in the summer, potentially fall, based on production schedules. I had a meeting with the producer yesterday, and he had an unfortunate accident and rolled his bulldozer over and was inside of it and had suffered a spinal injury. So he thankfully can walk still, but his schedule might be off a little bit. So we might need to push the filming of that lakeside story to the fall, possibly to October. But that piece alone will include massive promotion across the Great American Media Network, traditional TV, CTV, digital, as well as billboards. It's an investment that we're looking at that is not just a one and done. It's a multi-year agreement, and this would just be what is taking place over this calendar year. Next Star, we discussed some of the Arkansas campaign I drove to Little Rock last week, and just because we asked for this campaign on their traditional TV in Little Rock, they offered us a free segment. So I drove to Little Rock for the first time in my life and got to sit with them all and film some segments. It was fun. And they offered that to us for free just because we said we think we might be able to, sign a contract and do this $100,000 agreement for traditional TV as well as connected TV and digital. Then the country kind of Christmas, we had that commitment that came out of that budget there. And then some of the things that we really need to start paying attention to is traditional goes far, but AI is catching up to us. And in fact, it's passing us by. It's passing by all of us as we sit here in this meeting. We need to stay on top of it, and we need AI integration. We had a meeting with our website company this week, and right now, where people are finding us is AI. They're finding us on AI first. So we've got to start investing. And this is just a small investment for this year, but we know it will help us and boost us immediately. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, thanks for clarifying those items. We really appreciate that. Just a real quick question on the Sturgis. This is a multi-year investment, but this
So-
particular piece, 150, is just for this year.
Correct. So next year, the city will obviously be looking at the rally after the fact, and we'll be part of those conversations to talk about what worked, what didn't work, what kind of investment moving forward. So we anticipate those numbers probably be in flux as well. But they do anticipate by year 5 reaching anywhere from 18 to 20,000 units. And historically, that weekend has been a slower weekend for Branson, so why not boost
It's going to
attendance?
be the same relative weekend.
Yes, they will not do it on a
Obviously,
holiday. What we'll do is we'll look at, like we did this year, we looked at Lake of the Ozarks and when their rally is. And then we also worked in partnership with Harley Davidson Corporate, and they were the ones who picked that weekend because it didn't conflict with any others. And we think it'll be big. They're actually going to be giving away a Harley at the rally here in Branson. And part of those funds will benefit a local veterans cause.
I would just say anecdotally, being in Myrtle Beach around 2 different weekends, 2 Harley Rally weekends, it was interesting to see all of the people out and about, driving and having a good time,
Absolutely.
spending lots of money.
And the sales team has worked really hard to secure 1,000 rooms all across Branson that are contracted and available for them to book. They're already getting bookings. When Harley announced it to just their VIP attendees, they had 750 people sign up for the rally within a course of 2 hours from 32 different states. And that's for the rally here in Branson.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Heather, can you speak? I'm also gonna talk about Sturgis, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Can you speak to? It's not my area of expertise. $700,000 or 700,000 attendees that we're getting in front of potentially, give or take, for 150,000. Could you relate that to another marketing effort? And is that good value? Is that normal?
It's a great value, especially because it's not just 700,000 one and done. It's 700,000 and it's a dedicated audience that doesn't have anywhere to go. So we've also already sent them our videos, our 250th focus video and all of our commercial spots. And they're already feeding those to their audience through newsletters and social media. They just started a social media campaign yesterday. Jesse James Dupree texted me with one of the posts that they're already posting and already dropped the Explore Branson logo on it with our links. So it has a far reaching capacity here. It's not just mirrored in on Sturgis. In addition to that, we'll also have Sirius XM radio spots as well as TV throughout South Dakota. And then that doesn't even include the media that shows up to attend Sturgis that they will put us in front of.
Right. I guess specifically, is there an equivalency that you could say this relates to, like good buy, great buy, bad buy, somewhere in there?
My personal opinion, based on the data and the numbers, I would say it's a great investment.
Thanks.
Other than movies, So the A Country Kind of Christmas, is that the one that they already did, or is that another Christmas?
They just wrapped filming on it last week. So the commitment was 100,000 from the city and 100,000 from the TCED. And rather than that becoming more, we lumped that into the $850,000 investment.
And then another 150 for a summer/fall movie. So talk to me how do we see a return from that investment?
So do they have the agreement that with,
They have not seen it yet.
okay, so, and I'm not sure how much we can talk about this, but we have the opportunity to partner with Great American Media for a dedicated amount of time with a guaranteed amount of movies, and we get to dictate what the scripts essentially will be, what the topics will be. And with that includes dedicated marketing as well as commercials that would be running through the premiere of those movies and then across their platforms. So reaching their 4 million plus who are on their app, but then all of their viewership that are just traditionally viewing. So the reach is far. And once we can drop pixels on all those ads to be able to start measuring the impact of where that goes, then we would actually be able to, and this will happen starting this year, we'd be able to track who those visitors are, when they're coming, how much they're spending, where they're staying, all of that information. So then we'll be able to start calculating
Related back to
what the ROI is. Absolutely.
the partner reporting incentive program for 20,000. Talk to me about that.
That one I'm going to actually invite Ashley up, since it falls under the sales department.
Thank you.
You got
Open part.
it, right here, second row.
Okay, so we actually had internal discussions about that as well, and referenced allowable cost as well. To Chris's point, it's been reallocated. So you guys just don't have an updated sheet. That's my apologies on that. So we took that piece out. We're gonna try to come up with a system that we feel like can help encourage our partners to report back to us when they do book. I think we have some ideas around that won't involve payouts because we agree that money should be used elsewhere. So that piece is no longer included. So now it's just been reallocated against the other items that we proposed for sales, which is the lead acceleration, which is basically an extension of the op fund. It's just allowing for us to use some of the budget to continue to bring new groups in and looking at our existing database, to your point about closing those deals. If they maybe have been here before, but they're still in the lead status, maybe we utilize some of the same parameters around what we would use for op fund, but using these funds to get them to be incentivized to come. That's what that means. It's just an extension of the same program we're using. So that piece has been reallocated already.
Okay, I think in years past, we haven't used all of the opportunity funds, so do you envision, maybe you've been reporting, I just haven't seen it, do you envision you're actually gonna exhaust the current funds that are allocated there plus an additional need then?
That is the plan. So the initial op fund has all the parameters around it being new business and showing growth over years, which we agree with. We think that's important. This amount of money would allow us to take a look at our existing database, what's in the CRM already, and see if there's any opportunities for us to get them to consider Branson. An example, we have one we're in the works with right now that they have been to Branson in years past. They're in our system, in our CRM. They were looking for meeting space. We didn't have availability in our traditional meeting space hotels. So we pitched an idea, which is just out of box thinking, of using a field and setting up a tent and chairs and tables. It's in a time of year in September where that could work for them. They loved the idea, so we're using op funds to pay for the tent so that they have that as an option to bring a whole group here. And it's a big piece of business. So things like that, where we're taking a look at what's already in the system and then utilizing these funds to get them to want the book. So to your question, I think what we can do with the new funds, we're on track. We're pushing that. We're using it as a tool. I think this allows us to take a look of what's already in the pipeline.
So it'd be similar, but
Slightly
different
different.
criteria.
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, did you have anything?
No, that's it.
I have a question, in regard to what Chris had mentioned regarding, traditional television. I really feel like with, some of the challenges that are happening right now, that we probably need to, increase maybe our traditional television in order to, get local people that maybe are not on a streaming app or whatever, because last time I checked with Nielsen, it was still about 48% people were watching traditional TV, so that's a big chunk that we could be missing.
I guess I'm confused. Is Nielsen a marketing agency?
No,
No, it's Nielsen ratings
Oh,
services.
Nielsen ratings.
So I guess I would like to discuss what the data shows. So
Please.
the data shows that people are finding us through connected TV as well as digital, and they're finding us on their phones more than they're finding us on traditional TV. When we talk about numbers being down, this is where we're at in the state of the economy, gas prices, politics, Easter coming late. There are so many things to discuss when we talk about why we're down. And at our chamber board meeting yesterday, I gave a presentation about visitation and data. I'm more than happy to share that. I'll send it to Angela and she can send it out. It's one of those cases where we're used to this. I'm used to this in marketing. When things are going really well, it's not because we did a good job on marketing. When things are going poorly, it's because we did a bad job on marketing. So it's not that simple. We can't just point a finger or touch a button and say, if only we had more TV commercials running. That's not the solution. The solution is to let's be strategic and look at what we're doing and give this an opportunity to run its course. We have purchased TV in our drive markets. We are actually being proactive and reaching out to not only our digital agency, but our TV agency and asking them to pivot wherever they can that is showing either a decrease in visitation from the tracked pixel placement and viewership on traditional TV runtime, commercial runtime, but where can they pivot and make adjustments? The easiest adjustment to make is on the digital side. We can look at, are we performing in Atlanta? If we're not performing in Atlanta, can those dollars be shifted to those other top markets that we talked about in our report that are high performing? Can we easily switch those over to Kansas City, to Wichita, to Oklahoma City? We're doing all of that actively, proactively as we speak. We're not just dropping a plan and saying, hope it works. We're viewing it and adjusting and pivoting day to day, making a decision to let's just pivot and move more of our digital dollars into traditional TV. For starters, our contracts are signed. It doesn't work that way. We have a digital media placement in place with Datafy, and we are making changes and adjustments accordingly. We know we're not alone. Branson is not a bubble where it's the only place that's going to face a downturn. It's the only place that's going to experience something. That is the United States of America facing challenges on a geopolitical position. It's everywhere. As I mentioned yesterday, I'm thankful we're not dependent on the international market. If we were dependent upon the international market, we would be facing double digits down, decrease. It would be not pleasant. Friends all across the country are facing that right now. Our tourism partners all across the country. We are gifted in that fact that we only see 0.5% international visitation right now. But I'm asking, as your contracted partner in your agency of record, the DMO, can we be trusted to use our expertise, our knowledge, and our data that is available at our fingertips to activate and actualize this plan, and then come back with you and show you results? We're pivoting as we speak. We're adjusting. We're aware. We're paying attention to the market as well.
Thank you, Heather, for that. I think from the perspective of the question on digital versus, whatever we call traditional these days, we're already spending on traditional, correct? And this is the proposal that the MOC has seen and approved on the spend with the modifications that you've made?
Correct.
And just so I understand, that this is additional dollars that the board requested you to come back with a plan on to say, if you had an additional 850,000, this is the wisest way to spend that 850,000. And this is that proposal.
Correct.
Is that correct?
And one just reminder is there is another budget on the city side, and we have shared a side-by-side comparison with Angela of what the TCED spend is and the city spend is. Just because you don't see it, what all of the city has there, there's traditional dollars being spent on television from the city budget as well. So it's not just the TCED. There's an additional $3 million budget that comes from the city of Branson that we are actively using. And we also have the co-op that takes place for all of the attractions, live shows, that has been fully activated with a $300,000 investment in the city of Branson.
So sometime in the future meeting, it would be nice to see, I think, that and told, just here's.
Absolutely. We have a great side-by-side comparison that we can show.
Yeah, I think that would be
For sure.
See, any other questions for him?
But I just want to clarify, I don't know that it's fair to say that 48% are still traditional media, because I just looked at ChatGPT and it cites a Nielsen data and some other stuff, but it says 80-85% of Midwestern households use streaming services. Only 30-40% still subscribe to traditional cable or satellite, and 50-60% are streaming only. Then there's some more data there, so I think everything is trending towards digital, and the traditional is not what it was in 1997.
I
So,
completely agree, sir. And we have had this point of discussion previously when Mr. Myers was on this board. And anyone can Google whatever you want. And sometimes in this day and age, you can find the answer that you want. When we look at the data and we look at the numbers, more people are finding us through digital means than they are traditional. I haven't heard anyone argue about print lately. We could bring that up.
We
don't do
could
print.
not bring that up and move back
Right?
to task.
It's just a point about how we evolve and change and adapt to how people find their content.
Well, I do want to say for the record, I always appreciate when people come and give their comments and give their perspective. We are a public organization and we welcome everybody to provide input. That doesn't mean that necessarily we will act on that or do what that particular individual is asked, but I think it's important that people be given a voice to give their perspective. And I appreciate Heather, the effort and the time and everything that goes into from your team on putting together this work here on this additional spend, exactly what we ask you to do. Is there any other specific question for Heather before we have a discussion? Again, asking her not to go far, we might have additional questions. Okay, well, thank you for that, Heather. And I guess, does anybody have any comments that they'd like to make about the motion or this item that we have for the recommendation of the 850? Or does anybody want to give a motion and then we can discuss? Probably better do the motion.
Motion.
Yes, sir.
Please.
So the motion is to accept or adopt the plan that was
With the
presented,
revised
recommended by.
20,000.
Yeah.
So let me, if it's okay, for me to be specific, the motion is to accept the recommendation from our contractor and the MOC to spend the 850 as laid out in this document
With the adjustment.
with the appropriate adjustment. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and I heard a second over here. When was the second? Okay. All right, discussion time.
So exactly, is the amount going down to 30 or we're just
No,
reallocating the other?
we're still spending 20,
20,000?
we're just spending it in a different way. 850's already been passed, that's a previous motion, this is just a plan to spend 850, so we will spend 850. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, and I'm a CPA, and so, you know, it took me a long time to get used to that our sole goal here is to spend money. That's what we're gonna do. But we are to do it wisely, to be clear, we're to use it wisely. And we have a great partner in the city of Branson who has an allocated budget that complements what we do. And we do some bouncing back and forth. That's a natural fluctuation as we work to spend the money as efficiently as possible. So that's always a back and forth that's gone on since the beginning of this, you know, these two budgets coexisting. Any questions, comments? If not, then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, so next up, I think this is you again, Heather, okay? Just making sure, didn't screw that up. 2027 KPIs and goal recommendations.
So you'll see the KPIs, increase visitor spending by 5%, increase shoulder season visitation by 3%, increase repeat visitation by 5%, maximize ROI, and then we broke down the department goals by marketing, sales, and sports. And then the one suggestion that was made by MOC was to add in one that specifically pertained to AVE, advertising value equivalency, on the PR side of $10 million annually from earned media. And those would be for pieces that are published that come directly from our efforts. It wouldn't be the way that it was done in the past where any mention of Branson was counted and calculated as AVE, but this will be from the efforts that we actually conduct to make sure that we're actively pitching, promoting, and inviting media to the destination.
For those lay people in the room, that is something we can and do track already, if I'm
Yes,
not mistaken.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure.
And it would basically, that AVE is the equivalent of, if you had to buy it, that's how much it would cost.
And these were also, as I understand it, approved and recommended by the MOC. And this is just a, hey, we're gonna go ahead and get these out here because we're working on 27 already. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And we need to act on this recommendation, so.
I just have a quick question.
Yep.
I know that we talked about repeat visitors and I asked you about new visitation. Do we track new visitation even though we don't have it as a KPI?
I want to clarify something. This is not saying that this is all we track. This is
Right.
saying that these are the metrics that we are going to use to define good, great success
Yes.
for, okay,
Yeah.
just making sure that we're clear on that. So
Well,
before,
that was just a
well,
question.
yeah, so the question is, on top of this, you track a whole bunch of other stuff.
We sure do.
And
And yes,
do-
we can see new visitation.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, just, I know maybe it's a very long discussion, so hopefully it's brief, but when you're setting these KPIs, you know, this 5% increase visitor spending or 3% for shoulder season, or even your sales department goals, are you using historically what you were judged at in the Branson market, or are you looking at what are other DMOs, how are they judged in other markets? I mean, how do you arrive at these numbers, these goals, these KPIs?
I would say these are definitely industry standards. Other destinations I've worked with and for, those are standard KPIs. Absolutely. The goals are a little different because of the way that they're broken out by department. But I think that the goals have improved in the time that I've been here with specific measurable things. When you may recall when 2 years ago, when the goals were presented, it was very vague. It was increase 2 things and sales, I think, had 2 items. And Ashley and her team have worked hard to be very consistent with how can we measure, how can we monitor, and then how can we improve. And sports is the same way, you know, putting time and attention and thought into this is what we have and here's how we take it to the next level with actually naming and calling out numbers. So I think that the improvements have been big. And the marketing side, using the information that we're getting, using that visitor sentiment study and actually going to work with what we're going to get. We're spending money on that sentiment study. We've got to use it, and we've got to break out into committees and get the community involved and see how we change the future direction of what business and profitability and community will look like for the destination.
Would you consider these KPIs and goals conservative or aggressive? Are these ones that might be really, really hard to reach, or
I think with where we're at right now and gas prices and all the things, I think that we are conservatively optimistic about being able to reach these numbers. And does that mean that we will increase visitor spending by 5%? I think it's aggressive. It used to be 3. We increased it to 5. Yeah. But that's okay. We like to work hard for the money we earn.
Anything else there?
no? That's it.
Anybody else? All right, well, given that, do we have a motion to do something?
Has the ad equivalency been added in here or?
It
It's,
sure has.
it's right there.
Under marketing department goals.
So
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
AD of 10 million.
I circled it for you.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to adopt the recommendation provided by the MLC? Second. All right, got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you very much. And for, we're gonna move on next to just a quick update on the allowable cost policy, but I would like to say, to Heather, Ashley, and everybody in the room from, the EBT side, thank you for your hard work on these things. We really appreciate you stepping in and taking the request to heart and putting in a lot of effort to put this additional $850 to use. As we said as a board last meeting, this is our part of our job is to spend this money. Part of our job is also to dedicate more money, especially when we're hearing from our constituents, from the businesses and the people in our community that things have not been gone as they would have hoped to the start of this year. I learned a long time ago that it's a long run in a race, and we've got a lot of race left to run. And I'm not a runner, so let's be clear. It's a very silly analogy for me, but I do appreciate all the efforts. Thank you for putting these together and being conservatively optimistic on the KPIs. We appreciate that. So next up, we just have a real quick update from Sue Braun on our allowable cost policy. Sue, would you mind updating us?
Yes, the Financial Oversight Committee met on Tuesday, and during that meeting, we had, 3 appointed volunteers that agreed that they would sit on a committee and go through the allowable cost policy point by point to discern what is the best way for what is the best recommendation to give to the board.
If any, right? It could be just leave it status quo.
It could be,
Good.
could be.
Well, thank you for that. So that group is gonna get together and meet and then provide recommendation and have open discussion at the FOC meetings regarding that allowable cost.
Yes.
For people to come in. All right. Thank you very much on that. Any board members have any questions on that? All right, next up, we got 2026 agreed upon procedure recommendation. Angela, do you wanna help me out with that one?
I will. I don't see it in your packet. Some challenges we've run into with this year's agreed upon procedures audit include the fact that Heather is overproducing on marketing reports and hitting us monthly with them instead of quarterly. Our procedures say, bring us the quarterly reports. Quarterly reports are a thing of the past at this point. So for the 2026 audit, we're recommending that change to monthly audit reports, and they would parallel the same months that are picked for the rest of the testing of the performance. There were two sections in the financials that comparing Explore Branson's books to district's books, that our accounting methods differ and we cannot make those numbers tie. So the recommendation was to remove the accounts receivable, accounts payable comparison and the consolidated financial statement trial balances and replace them with a report monthly to FOC that reconciles what is billed by Explore Branson versus what is paid by the district, and also the revenues coming in so that we have a reconciliation report that can be tracked by the Financial Oversight Committee rather than in this audit process. The third was include an inventory list of the district's physical assets and inspect 3 items. Currently, we have 1 physical asset that we've purchased with district funds. So it was suggested that we remove that from the procedures list.
The camera.
It's a camera.
So just as a point of clarification for everybody, we're talking not about the audit. We're talking about the contract audit, which is an agreed upon
Yes,
procedures
it-
engagement, which is different than an audit.
It's different than the
It's a
financial
specific
audit.
set of procedures we give to the auditors and they perform work and report back on those procedures.
Mhm.
And is the recommendation from the FOC that agreed upon procedures engagement needs to be modified before completion?
Not
Yes,
for
it
this year.
does. Well, not for this year, but it needs to be modified to reflect our current process. So it's
But
not
for
consistent.
2020,
And the conflict is with the contract versus practice. Some things we're doing more of than the contract requires. So we can't really compare the two reporting methods.
yeah,
We can't.
let's not stop doing monthly. I think.
No, I like the monthly.
So again, we need to level set what we're talking about, because while we're saying 2026, it's really for the 2025 year. So we are saying we need to modify it.
No, we're modifying for the 2026 year. We've
Okay.
created the comments and responses to address these issues of the 2025 report.
That's what it reads. I just want to be sure that we're clear here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for 26, and then for 27, there'll be a new contract.
Yeah.
So we can clean it up in
We're
27.
going to clean it
Okay,
up.
fair enough.
So
That was the item that you included ahead of time, that with the recommendations.
Yes.
And those recommendations have been, the FOC was on board with those.
yes, that was their recommendation.
Do you have a motion to adopt the recommendation as provided by the FOC related to the 2026 agreed upon procedures engagement? Do you have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Then if all those are in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you very much. All right, the last up on the new business, we have a recommendation from our FOC, a lot of hard work. Thank you, FOC, for all the hard work. Got a lot
Long
going
meeting.
on. Same to the MOC. We had a lot of great stuff this month. But it's multiple months, just to be clear, that this acting for 1 month here. We have a recommendation. Who wants to tell us about that?
You have a folder in front of you with the Interfi, ICS, and Sears program. And basically what this is, I don't know if y'all are familiar with banks sometimes do participation loans. Well, this is participation checking accounts. And so what it does is we separate our money into $240,000 lots, and other banks work with the bank that we use now to cooperate. And that way, that money is FDIC insured. Right now, anything over $250,000 is not FDIC insured. So this spreads that out so that the liability is with each institution, but we get one consolidated statement, one consolidated report every month. And so it's not like we have to go to 5 or 6 different banks in order to get our information. We still get one report a month.
So I guess, I mean,
And the
just,
FOC did recommend that we accept this.
okay. I feel like it's important we clarify a few things. Our accounts, while over $250,000 are secured by a special program with arrangement of the bank that's part of the RFQ that we do. So we do have securities that are specifically pledged against our amounts that are on balances, so that they are secured, even though it isn't technically via the FDIC insurance. So I want to be clear for those community members and anybody listening in to this later, we have been covered using proper procedures on that. Secondarily, this CEDAR program's been around forever. Yeah, but I just want to be clear that the recommendation from the FOC was to switch from the program we're on currently for cash management to have securities that are pledged, treasury securities that are pledged against the amounts that we have over and above 250 to this CEDAR's program instead.
Yes.
And that was the recommendation. Yes. Okay. Do I have a motion to that effect? Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
All right, thanks. Got a motion in a second. I guess, I don't normally do this, but I am gonna comment. So I'm gonna start us out on this. If anybody else have any comments, please. Cedars is not new. A lot of people use it. This is a well-respected, well-utilized program. So I've got no issues. I guess I do want to confirm verbally what I asked about ahead of time, but to our executive team, I want to confirm that this will still allow us to pay whatever bills we need to pay. Because this is not normally on a checking account. This is normally on a savings account. So this is where I am a little bit having a question as to we're still going to be able to function and not be moving money back and forth on a daily basis. Because last time I checked, banks don't like that. So
That's true.
Banker and the former banker in the room.
I spoke with Public Water Supply District number 3 because they've been using it for about 2.5 years. The ICS program is more liquid than the Cedars. Cedars is literally CDs. They found it to be seamless. When I spoke with Norma at Branson Bank, she manages the program. She would serve as our custodian. Our money would get sent to the partner banks. And let's say I go out and write a $2 million check for some marketing program. It gets to the bank and they take care of making sure that the money is in our checking account to pay that bill. There's nothing transfers that would have to be authorized through signatures or anything else. It's bank management of the money.
And also to be clear, it's the ICS program that we're talking about. We're not
Yes.
talking about Cedars.
No, it's the
We're talking
ICS.
Okay. That was what the motion was, so I'm glad we did it correctly. So just to be clear, the motion was to accept the recommendation from the FOC. The recommendation from the FOC was to adopt this ICS system for cash management.
Will the benefit us more? Besides the protection, if they're spreading it out to multiple banks, does each bank have a higher interest rate that we're making
No.
off the money? So if we're sending $1 million here, we get like a 3.5%, 4% on the checking.
We will-
Versus leaving it in Branson Bank where we're just getting,
We receive a contracted rate from Branson Bank and it's pretty generous.
and then that would follow through with all, wherever
Yes.
the money goes, they could never go lower than
Right.
that interest.
Correct.
All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, well, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. We got a nice full agenda of accomplishing a lot of different goals, so I appreciate everybody being here. We are going to close session pursuant to RSMO 610.021 to discuss contractual issues, so I wish everybody safe journey back to wherever they're going. It looks like it stopped raining for the time being, so stay dry. Pam and Heather, would you mind if you have time? If you're giving advance notice or not, but if you would stay.
Sorry, Derek, could we have a motion?
We'll take just a slight.
Quick motion, second and a roll call vote.
Motion.
Roll call.
So
Brett?
Second.
Second. It's got a motion, second, roll call. Brett said yes.
Yes.
Sue, Michelle,
Yes.
Derek,
Yes.
Matt,
Yeah.
Brett,
Yes.
Tim, and Derek for yes.
We're now officially in closed session. Everybody
Thank
take a
you.
roll.
Nice to meet you.
If you need to take a.
Thank you. Hit the button.